Every single day before I take a single trade, this is exactly what I do. And it's going to show you exactly when you're going to get the big breakouts or the break to the downside. And it's also going to show you where to find those targets for every single trade, whether it's futures or stocks. Let's get to work. Now, before we jump into exactly how we're identifying the levels pre-market and things along those lines, that is going to come here in a second. But we have to understand what we're looking for and why we're looking at it, because this is going to show you the premise of why you're doing this. And if you don't understand why, you're just going to be lost in everything else. So again, for the case here, I'm going to use a supply and demand picture. I think it's just easier to give you a visual and break it down really clean for you, right? The same thing goes for key levels, and we'll go more into that and give you better examples. But short and sweet, you're having these levels, number one, because you want to understand where buyers and sellers are. So when we're identifying these, the demand zone typically is where we're trying to find those buyers. Supply, where we're trying to expect and find those sellers. The same thing goes for your key levels. If you have a previous daily open at highs, daily, close down at lows, well, then again, you're in those same levels and where you expect to find those ranges for yourself. So again, what ultimately the goal here is to be on the side of those buyers, right? And sometimes it's a lot easier said than done. Sometimes you'll get stopped out of trades. But the premise of understanding why you want to do this is because you spend more sideways time when you're at those levels, right? So ultimately, if you're trying to go long, you don't want to start going long at those highs because you're, one, going to get stuck in a trade for a little bit of time. Number two, you're probably going to get rejected and it's going to put you in a low quality setup. And then number three, you're just on the opposite side of the trade right there. But you want to be in those smooth transitions to where you're making lower highs, lower lows, or you're making higher highs and higher lows back inside the trend. Because where you make your money is moving from one range to the other, from one level to the other. So it's understanding where those buyers are, where those sellers are, and taking advantage of that as a whole. Now, the goal here isn't to break above supply zone and go straight up to the moon, right? We're scalping, we're day trading. The goal is to take what's in front of us and consistently try to have a repeatable strategy that we can identify time and time again. Another thing that I want to add in here too is, before we go into the other levels and understanding that, is that higher time frames will always trump smaller time frames. I don't even care if you're scalping. If you are identifying levels, supply zones, demand zones, whatever it may be, understand that if I find one on a weekly time frame or a monthly high time frame, that is going to trump a 15-minute candle or even a daily candle, just so you understand. The higher the time frame will always dominate when we look at the charts. Now, before I can show you exactly how I was finding these levels, it was important that we understand why we're finding them and what to expect from these levels, and then also what they are. Because you have to understand that buyers and sellers, in my opinion, are the most important factor of the market. So you know the reaction that you're expecting and the reaction that you're probably going to get. Once you understand that, it all becomes a little bit more easy, and then you can interpret the market a little bit easier as well. Okay, so now we're going to get more into what's happening with the daily close, daily high, things along those lines. And I'm going to use a few examples here as well. So when we look at what's happening with a bullish daily close, whatever it may be. Now, some people will get overexcited about a daily close, what's happening overall on that candle. And I think that's important. But really all we care about is that high and that low, right? That's going to be the important part. Some people, they get hyper focused on what's happening with the candle, where we're going the next day. They get into the prediction game. Now, you can make money on the prediction game, but typically you're not going to be scalping on that predicting. You don't want to predict what's going to happen over the next 5 minutes, right? If you're trying to predict what's going to happen over the next few days, whether it's candles leading us, or we actually get a big breakout, things along those are more swing trade viewpoints in my mind. So when I'm looking at this, again, we only want to focus on the high and the low. That is the most important thing. So when we go into a chart, and we're going to look at something real quick, we're going to look at two, like I said. Let me clean off all these drawings here, and we're going to start on the daily time frame for NVIDIA. So what I want to do here very, very easily, right, is I'm just going to mark out the daily high. This was from Thursday, and I'm also going to mark out the daily low. Now, obviously, the daily low didn't matter, but let's jump into what's happening on the stock chart. I'll go into futures as well, because again, I think futures are where this really shines, but let's keep going. So we go to the 5 minute here, and we understand what's happening for the next day. So what happens, obviously, your day opens up here on Friday where you gap right above. Now, the interesting point here is, where do you open up here, right? So this is your previous, actually, let's move it a little bit higher right there. So where do you actually, that open of that candle, you can go back to this picture so you can see, the open on a green candle, just so you can identify, is the bottom of where that body starts, right? And then the same thing with the bearish candle is the top right there as well, because it's bearish to the downside, clearly, right? So we look here, the body of that candle starts essentially right at our previous day open. already signifying that bulls are getting involved and they're getting right to that breakout point. Now we look a little bit further and you can see here on the 5 minute as well, you don't get multiple 5 minute candle closes below that level, which is ultimately what we talk about here all the time. We want to see like a 1-2 punch, right? Or we want to see a break, a retest, and continuation ultimately for downside. The fact of the matter here is on Nvidia, and this is just using the most recent example, again, is you get multiple break and retest back to the upside. 1, 2, and then you just keep going, right? Over and over. And again, you can see you're not getting a 1-2 below this. You're not getting a full, you get one candle close, get right back above. Candle close, right back above. And this happens all day long at that level, just showing you why that level is so key, specifically to Nvidia. Now, you could argue that you have some supports here as well, but the support would be around, I think, 136.7, which goes back into your high back here. But again, that's very important to understand of why that level is so significant. And again, that's just one example here. We can use another name like Apple, which again had a really good Friday. So what we're going to do here on Apple, we go to the daily chart, quickly go back over. My chart's a little bit all over the place. But again, Apple had its big breakout, which was already at 237. But the next level we're watching, let's just go for the daily open here. And I actually haven't even charted Apple, right? But what happens here? So the next day begins. We're going to go to where is the start of Friday. So Friday starts out right here below our level right there. That's where Friday's open begins. And if you go, let's go to the 1 minute so you can get a better look. Sometimes your names are just so strong you don't get the immediate test. You come back to that level. Look what happens. You break above, you sit, you mount on that level for 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. You hold that level, previous day high, and end up shooting up. Again, you never really get another retest of that level. This name was just too strong. But again, you can go over this time and time and time again. Now, futures, in my opinion, give you really good examples. And again, this will work to the downside as well. It's just we're having more bullish action here so far. So again, we look at something like NASDAQ. Again, going into our daily levels, identifying them here once again. I already had this level identified, 22,126 roughly there. So we're going to do it to the 15 minute, a little bit of a higher time frame here. I want to make sure it's exactly on that for us. And so you know as well, daily closes on the futures are different. They close, well, actually they close right when the stock market closes as well. But I think 4 o'clock, an hour after market close, just to give you a heads up, just so you know. When the after hours close for stocks. So again, you have that level right there. Now, again, this isn't as clean of a chart, but you can still see that the level is clearly being respected. But the important thing to understand here is after hours versus when market actually opens. So this is all after hours action, right? This is all, Asia session. You have London session open up here. The stock market doesn't open. New York session doesn't start till right here, right there. And you can actually see what happens here at market open. You get a nice push up to that level. You reject and shoot down. And then basically for the remainder of the day, you sit on top of that level. You get 2 candles below, you break back above, and it's basically game on from there, and you push up ultimately, right? And it's worth mentioning, if you look at the action from Friday, it was very slow action. Like, we had a slow grind up across the board on most stocks. It was no extreme buying, volatility. It was just showing you where that action really was playing. So it's important to understand that. And what we'll really be able to identify here on this chart as well as we move into the next step of the pre-market levels as well. Because again, once you combine these and you start to apply even the 15-minute opening range, which we covered in one of the last videos, you can identify as well, if you start breaking out and mounting these levels, that's when the buying opportunities really start to rail in, especially on 5-minute and smaller time frames as well, even with that low 15-minute opening range as well. So again, it's all about piecing these things together. And you can still use your other strategies as well. If you use oscillators, whatever it may be. I don't use those. I use supply and demand, key levels, and reactionary trading. But you can still implement these, and you should be implementing these to add an edge, just so you can quickly identify these levels of understanding key breakouts, where those points are, and everything in between the day. Now, one of the big things I covered in a previous week's video was going over the 15-minute opening range. You can combine that with the previous daily open for finding targets of a breakout to the upside or finding next levels beyond that as well. And you have to understand too, this works both ways, not just to the upside, but also to the downside when you're breaking those lows. So it really creates an understanding of when you're getting the big breakout and the volatility increase as well. Now, the next thing we're going to mention here are your pre-market levels. And I don't do this enough with stocks. I really don't. I think you can really focus more on your daily action because especially with stocks, the amount of volume pre-market versus the amount of volume during the market, like when it's open, it's 10 to 50, like 50 times different. It's way different, right? You at least have some volume coming in on, futures, but it's still a lot higher than the New York session. So quickly, I want to identify your pre-market highs here. And we're going to go just into Thursday to Friday's example. So Thursday closes, Friday opens here. And so your pre-market level was right here. roughly at, you saw 1 a.m., your London session right there, 22,164. And you can basically see for a bulk of the day, not only were you trying to break above that daily high, were you trying to hold that, but then you got stuck below your pre-market high. So again, if you combine both of these, you're going to get two massive levels off rip. And then on the low side, you had your pre-market low down here, right? So quick rule of thumb, if you're identifying these levels on top of daily levels as well, you typically expect big breakouts or a surge in volume when you break your pre-market high and your pre-market low. And so look what happens here. So you get a button, you want to take a 5-minute hold, at least. Bare minimum, that's what you want to always see. And so we get here, we get one hold, you get rejected back down. And then you finally get a candle, you shoot up from 22,163 all the way into 22, basically 10, right? You come back down, you remount that here into power hour, you shoot straight up for the rest of the day. Picture perfect. Even if you didn't get in here, the better opportunity was that retest of pre-market highs, shooting us right back up, which really shot us up way quicker, right? So again, identifying those levels time and time again, right? So again, what I'd be looking for. And you might ask yourself, well, Tyler, what do you do when you're below your previous day high and you're not really breaking a pre-market low, and you also have your 15-minute opening range where you're staying above that as well? You don't do nothing. These are just low quality. This right here is low quality setups. In theory, yeah, you could trade that retest to the downside, but it's just a low quality setup. There's no momentum. There's no volume stepping in with you. You want to have more indicators telling you, yes, this is a good trade. And not just indicators on your chart, but just you want to see more signs saying this is a good trade, right? So if you were looking down a highway and there was about 10 reasons why this highway is safer, and there's only 2 reasons why this highway was safer, you might want to take the one with all the reasons that it has a higher percent chance of getting to your destination in one piece. This highway has all these officers, it has traffic lights, things along those lines. This one, there's 2 cops, there might be some bandits, we don't know what's going to happen over there, right? It's picking and choosing what you want to do. You can take the risk if you want, if you really need to force it, but ultimately, in my opinion, when it comes to trading, it's about taking higher percent setups, right? You have to understand, there's always going to be another trading day, there's always going to be another piece of news, there's always going to be more opportunity in the market, okay? You're not always going to have an unlimited portfolio. That's the key factor that you have to understand here. So when you start putting this together, right? And I do want to give an example of a previous day low. So again, for this, I will also zoom out. And again, just really quickly going into this, we're going to go to, I want to do a more recent day of getting some downside. But again, you haven't seen a lot of downside recently, especially to where you're breaking previous day lows. But again, you can also get an example of a reversal. So what we're going to do here is the 7th of February. This was Friday. Again, we've had these terrible Fridays as of recently. And if we go back here, this is a great example of, hey, there's no follow through. Get the hell out. So again, what do you see here? So on the previous Friday, right here, this is Friday the 7th last week, you get a pretty gnarly ending to the week with tariffs and all of that stuff happening. And then Sunday, after Sunday afternoon, market opens up, you open up here and you just get straight back above this. So everyone was hammering and saying, oh, we have these fears, the market's weak. But in reality, you're just reclaiming massive levels. So if you start to reclaim that, there's really no reason to go short. But in reality, let's say you're pushing up, you have every reason to know if you start breaking back below this level, dude, it's an easy short, easy, right back down to those lows down here at 21.4, right? But again, it's about not forcing those plays and understanding what you're really looking for and what you're looking at, right? And so that's what happens. You end up breaking back down here. On Wednesday, you bounce right back off of those Friday lows as well. So it's understanding what you're looking for and why you're looking for it. And during this whole time too, you're just making higher lows. So you also understand the structure in which you're trading in as well. So it's all about identifying those levels, understanding what you're looking for, and getting any type of context of what's happening really within the market. It's not about how we feel about the market. It's about what's actually being put right in front of us every single day. And that's how you have to be able to interpret the market without having some blind bias. I hate the word, like the view of a daily bias, because things change all throughout the day, especially if you're going into the market and you, like I say, you're trading your plan and then Trump starts to announce tariffs. Like, that ruins a whole daily bias. You can't have that viewpoint. You have to have your head on a swivel and take what's right in front of you and ultimately not be greedy in the market despite what you may believe or think is going to happen. So daily highs, daily lows are super important. But sometimes it's going to take a little bit of time to get to those. So what I'm always watching as well was those pre-market levels. Pre-market levels are also very big, specifically with futures, because you're going to get an understanding of where buyers and sellers were taking you before the market opened, with typically less overall volume that was taking place there in the market. So you have to understand, when New York sessions open, typically volume is much, much higher. So when you're getting a breakout from those levels, you have to expect more liquidity coming in or coming out of the market at those levels as well.